ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ், இந்த வீடியோ எதை பற்றினு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா யூஜிடிஆர்பி சிலபஸ் மேத்தமேட்டிக்ஸ் சப்ஜெக்டை பொறுத்து பார்த்திங்கன்னா எல்லா சப்ஜெக்ட்டுக்கும் சப்ஜெக்ட் வைஸ் நம்ம சேனலில் சிலபஸ் போட்டுட்ருக்கோம். இப்போது மேத்தமேட்டிக்ஸ்க்கு போட்டிருக்கோம். இதுலேயும் சேம் பிஜிடிஆர்பி மாதிரி தான் யூஜிடிஆர்பிக்கும் 10 யூனிட் கொடுத்துருவாங்க. அதை டைட்டில் வைஸாக பார்க்கலாம். வாங்க பார்க்கலாம். நம்ம சேனலை சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிக்கங்க, ஃபாலோ பண்ணுங்கள், பெல் ஐக்கானை கிளிக் பண்ணிக்கங்க. தான் கவர்மெண்ட்டில் கொடுத்த சிலபஸ், ஜிஓ எல்லாமே இந்த ஒரே இதில் தான் இருக்குது. நம்ம சப்ஜெக்ட் வைஸை கட் பண்ணி போட்டிருக்கோம். வாங்க பார்க்கலாம். இது பார்த்திங்கன்னா மேத்தமேட்டிக்ஸுக்கு அண்டர் கிராஜுவேட் அந்த குவாலிஃபிகேஷன் 6th to 10th வரைக்கும் எடுக்கக்கூடிய ஸ்டாஃபுக்கு ஒரே பேப்பரு. அந்த பேப்பருக்கான டீட்டெயில் சிலபஸ் தான் இது. மேத்தமேட்டிக்ஸ் யூனிட் 1 அல்ஜிப்ரா அண்டு ட்ரிகோனோமெட்ரி, polynomial equations, imaginary and irrational roots, relation between roots and coefficients in a symmetric function of roots in terms of coefficient, transformation of equation, reciprocal equation, increase or decrease on the roots of given equation, removal of terms, discrete rule of signs, approximate solution of roots of polynomial by Horner's method, Gordon's method of solution of cubic polynomial, summation of series using binomial, exponential and logarithmic series, symmetric, symmetric, Hermitian, Hermitian, orthogonal matrix, unitary matrices, eigenvalues, eigenvectors, Hamilton theorem, similar metrics, diagonalization of matrix, prime number, composite number, decomposition of composite number as a product of primes uniquely, divisor of a positive integer, Euler function, congruence model, highest power of prime number, symbols contained in application of maxima and minima, prime and composite numbers, Euler's function, configurances, formats, Wilson's and Lognern's theorem, expansions of power of sin x, sin x, cosine x, tan x, summation by c plus is method, telescopic summation, expansion of sin x, cos x, tan x in terms of x, sum of roots of trigonometric equation, formation of equation with a trigonometric roots, hyperbolic function, relation between circular and hyperbolic function, inverse hyperbolic function, logarithm of a complex number, principal value and general values. Next unit பார்த்தீங்கன்னா differential calculus, integral calculus and analytical geometry, nth derivatives, trigonometrical transformations, Leibniz theorem, implicit functions, partial differentiation, maxima minima of a function of two variables, Lagrangian multiplier method, radius of curvature in Cartesian and polar forms, angle between radius vector and tangent, slope of the tangent of a polar curve. P are equations center of curvatures, evaluates envelopes symptoms symptoms of algebraic curves, symptoms by inspection intersection of curve with symptoms, evaluation of double and triple integrals, applications of multiple integrals in finding volumes, surface areas of solids, areas curved surfaces, Jacobians transformation of integrals using Jacobians, indefinite integrals, beta and gamma functions and their properties, evolution of integral using beta and gamma functions, pole and polar, conjunct points and conjunct lines, conjunct diameters, polar coordinates, general polar equation of a straight line, general polar equation of a conic, third differential equations and Laplace transformations, ordinary differential equations, homogeneous equations, exact equations, integrating factors, linear equations, reduction of order, second order linear differential equations, general solution of homogeneous equations, homogeneous equation with constant coefficients, method of undermined coefficients, method of variation of parameters, system of first order equations, linear systems, homogeneous linear system with a constant coefficient, partial differential equations, formation of partial differential equations by eliminating arbitrary constants and arbitrary functions, solving PDEs, complete integral, singular integral, general integral, Largeness equations, அது இது ஃபார்முலா கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. Corpit's method and social types of first order equations, Laplace transform of elementary functions, Laplace transforms of special function like a unit step function, direct delta function, properties of Laplace transformation and Laplace transform of derivatives and integrals, evaluation of integrals using Laplace transform, initial value theorem, final value theorem, Laplace transform of periodic functions, inverse Laplace transforms, convolution theorem, application of Laplace transformations in solving first and second order linear differential equations and simultaneous linear ordinary differential equations. Unit 4, Vector Calculus and Fourier. Fourier series, Fourier transforms, vector differentiation, velocity and acceleration, vector and Unit 4, Vector Calculus and Fourier series, Fourier transforms, vector differentiation, velocity and acceleration, vector valued functions and scalar potentials, gradient, divergence, curl, directional derivative, unit normal to a surface, Laplacian double operator, harmonic functions, vector integration, line integral, conservative force field, determining scalar potential from a conservative force field, work done by a force, surface integral, volume integral, theorems of gas Stokes and Green. Fourier series, expansion of periodic functions of period, expansion of even and odd functions, half range series, evaluation of infinite series using Fourier series expansions, Fourier transforms, infinite Fourier transforms, Fourier sin and cosine transforms, simple properties for Fourier transforms, convolution theorem, preserves identity, unit 5, algebraic algebraic structures, groups, subgroups, cyclic groups and properties of cyclic groups, Lagrange theorem, counting principles, normal subgroups, quotation groups, homomorphisms, automorphisms, Claira's theorem, permutation groups, rings, some special classes of rings, integral domain, homomorphisms of rings, ideal and quotation rings, prime ideal, maximum ideals, the field and quotations of an integral domain, uh, Euclidean rings, algebra of linear transformation, characteristics, roots, metrics, canonical forms, triangular forms, problems of converting linear transformation to matrices and vice versa, vector space definition and examples, linear dependence, independence, subspaces and dual spaces, inner product spaces. Unit 6th, real analysis, sets, countable and uncountable sets, real number system or functions, real valued functions, equivalence and countability, infirmum and supermum of yes, subset of or Bolzano various stress theorem, sequence of real numbers, convergent and divergent sequences, monotone sequences, Cauchy sequences. A limit superior and the limit inferior of a sequence, subsequences, infinite series, alternating series, conditional convergence and absolute convergence, tests and of absolute convergence, continuity and uniform continuity of a real valued function of a real variable, limit of a function at a point, continuity and differentiability of a real valued functions, Rolle's theorem, mean value theorems, inverse function theorem, Taylor's theorem with remainder forms, power series expansion, Riemann integrability, sequences and series of functions, metric spaces, a limit of functions at a point in metric space, functions continuous and a metric space, various reformulations for continuity of a function in a metric space, open set, closed sets, discontinuous functions on the real line. Unit 7, complex analysis, algebra of complex numbers, function of complex variables, mappings, limits, theorem on limits, continuity, differentiability, Cauchy-Riemann equations, analytic functions, harmonic functions, conformal mapping, Mobius transformations, elementary transformation, bilinear transformation, cross ratio, fixed point of bilinear transformations, social, special bilinear transformations, counters integrals, anti derivatives, Cauchy, Gaussian theorem, power series, complex integration, Cauchy's theorem, Mora's theorem, Cauchy's integral formula, uh, Liouville's theorem, maximum model principle, Swiss lemma, Taylor's series, Lorentz series, calculus of residues, residues theorem, evaluation of integrals, definite integral of the trigonometric functions, argument principle of argument principle, and Rouget's theorem. Unit 8 mechanics, static force on a ragged body, moment of a force, general motion of a ragged body, equivalent system of force, parallel forces along the side of a triangle couples, resultant of several coplanar forces, equation of line of a action of a resultant equilibrium of a rigid body under three coplanar forces, reduction of a coplanar force into a single force and couples, loss of friction, angle of friction, equilibrium of a body and a rough inclined plane acted on by several forces, equilibrium of a uniform homogeneous string catenary suspension bridge, center of gravity of uniform liquid bodies. What the dynamic dynamics, velocity and acceleration, coplanar motion, rectilinear motion under constant forces, acceleration and iteration, thrust on a plane, motion along a vertical line under gravity, motion along an inclined plane, motion of connected particles, Newton's law of motions, work, energy and power, work, conservative field of force, power, rectangular motion under varying force, simple harmonic motion, SHM along a horizontal line, SHM along a vertical line, motion under gravity in a resisting medium, path of projectile, practical projected on a inclined plane, analysis of force acting on a practicals and rigid bodies on static equilibrium, equivalent system of force, friction, centroids and moments of inertia, elastic medium, impact, impulsive force, impact of spare, impact of two smooth spares, impact of two spares of two smooth spares on a plane, oblique impact of the two smooth spares, circular motion, conical pendulum motion of a cyclist on circular path, circular motion on a vertical plane, relative rest in a revolving cone, simple pendulum, central orbit, conic as a central orbit, inertia, moment of inertia. Unit 9 Operations Research, Linear Programming, Formulation, Graphical Solution, Simplex Method, Big M Method, Two Phase Method, Duality, Primal Dual Relation, Dual Simplex Method, Revised Simplex Method, Sensitive Analysis, Transformation Problem, Assignment Problem, Weaning Theory, Queuing theory, basic concepts, steady state analysis of M1 and system with infinite and finite capacities. PERT and CPM project work diagram. Critical path PERT computations inventory models, basic concept EOQ models, uniform demand rate, infinite and finite protection rate with no storage shortage, classical newspaper boy, some boy problem with discrete demand, purchase inventory model with one price break, game theory 2% zero. Some game with a saddle point, without saddle point, dominance solving 2xn or 2mxn, mx2 game by graphical method, integral programming, branch and bound method. 10th unit பார்த்தீங்கன்னா statistics and probability, measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion, moments, skewness and orbits, cortoisis, correlation, rank correlation, regression line of x, y and y x index numbers, consumer price index. Index numbers, conversion of a chain base index number into fixed base index numbers, curve fitting, principles of lattice squares, fitting a straight line, fitting a second degree for parabola, fitting of power curves, theory of attributes, consistency of data, independence and associated data, theory of probability, sample space, axioms of probability function, law of addition, conditional probability, law of multiplication, independent Boole's inequality, Bayes theorem, random variables, distribution functions, discrete and continuous random variables, probability density functions, mathematical expectations, moment generating functions, cumulates characteristics functions, theoretical distributions, binomial Poisson normal distributions, properties and conditions of a normal curve, test of significance of sample and large samples, is a test, student test, f test, chi squares and contingency coefficient. 10 யூனிட் மேக்ஸ் 10 யூனிட் பார்த்தாச்சு. பார்த்தீங்கன்னா யூனிட்டு பயங்கரமாக இருக்குது. யூனிட்டை சிலபஸை படிக்கிறதுக்கே ரொம்ப நேரம் ஆயிடுச்சு. சிலபஸு படித்து பேப்பரை படித்து எக்ஸாம் எழுதணும். நல்லா படிங்க. இதுதான் சிலபஸ்ஸு, கோத்ரூ பண்ணிக்கோங்க. தேங்க்யூ ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ்.